Just a short little video on a couple screw-ups on the planer rebuild today. The first screw-up was caught by subscriber Andy Gus that the belts were on backwards. I had figured, which was dumb, that the motor spun in a clockwise direction. And you determine that by looking at the motor from the shaft direction or the load direction. If it's turning clockwise, it's a clockwise motor. If it's turning counterclockwise, it's a counterclockwise motor. I can't turn the motor on, so when I went to lunch, I just looked it up to see what is the normal direction of an electric motor like this, and it said they're usually clockwise, but this is a counterclockwise motor. If it were turning clockwise, that would turn this clockwise, which would turn the cutter head backwards. The cutter head needs to turn this way, that way it's taking off wood going like that. If it went the other way, it would just grab the wood and fire it out of the other end. So I took everything apart and got it on the correct way. These need to trail the counterclockwise direction, and it's now doing that. But in the process, I scuffed this up. I'm going to touch that up before I put it back on. And while I was tightening things up, I noticed something as well. Listen to this. Nothing major. All it is the cutter head hitting this chip breaker. So I'm going to move the chip breaker back up. I actually don't need the chip breaker, and I should probably take it off, but for now, I'll just readjust this and move it up so the cutter head's not hitting it. I've had this off most of the time I've owned this planer, because with a normal cutter head, with the chip breaker in place, it was clogging up right here. And once it started clogging up, it would fill up and make a nest into the duct and stuff. So it was just a total mess. So, like I said, I took it off and left it off. But I think for now, I'll just move this back. There we go. And obviously, the cutter head is turning backwards because I'm doing it with a wrench. And, well, I can turn it around. Hopefully it won't undo the bolt there. That's the direction it'll go in. And you can see that that's going to tend to tighten these up. And if it's going in the wrong direction, if you're leading with these tails, it can disassemble your belts and your belts will go flying off. All right, got that taken care of. Let me go over how you adjust this real quick before I sign off. These two bolts right here adjust the height and the angle of the motor mount. And you just put a piece of cardboard down and you pry it up or just push down on it, and you go back and forth between those two until you get the belt the right tension and get the pulley centered as good as you need it in between the two sides here. And then you tighten those down. And then this bolt right here and this bolt right here, which you can adjust with the cover on. There is an opening for this bolt here, and this one's outside the cover. Those adjust the angle of the entire assembly. And once you get the motor to where it needs to be, the correct height for the right tension, and the correct centering, then you loosen these and you can tip it until you got it level. So that'll wrap up this quick little video. Yeah, special thanks to Andy Gus, a subscriber, for pointing this stuff out. I would have hated to have everything all hooked up and trying this out for the first time and have a belt or two come flying off and possibly getting damaged. So thanks for the heads up, Andy. And it was nice to find this out as well, because I could have had a belt fly off and all kinds of noises. Would have been just a little mini nightmare. And now we averted that. So I'm going to get this cover back on. I'm going to get that painted and put back on. And I believe I said the next video would be putting on the Whoopsie height adjustment. But I think I'm going to get this motor control completely done, because I'm going to be painting this black, and that paint is going to need some time to dry. So this will be the next project. Well, actually, while the paint's drying on that, I'll be doing the Whoopsie planer readout install, and that video will come out first. Okay, so I was correct. The Whoopsie video will be next. And I should point out before we go that we are up to 811 subscribers, 189 to go. If you haven't subscribed yet, it doesn't cost anything. So I urge you to subscribe and help me get to 1,000 so that YouTube promotes us better. All right, that'll do it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the Whoopsie video.